Well, hello and welcome to Mercury Retrograde's version of Three Crones in the Woo Woo. we are having such challenges today. Oh my goodness. But I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. We know your time is precious and we love that you want to spend a little bit of it with us. My name is Gayle Nicholson. I am your Dragon Slayer Crone, and I am also your Word Witch here among the Three Crones. To my side, we have Miss Krista Ducharme with Dimensional Healing with Krista on Facebook. And as back from me, Damaris Samolinski is in the house. Woohoo! Yeah, we're so glad to have you. We loved our guests, but man, the predictability of putting the show together for the three of us is a welcome comfort right now for me. I'll tell you that. Welcome back, Damaris.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's good to be back.
It's amazing to have you and to see you.
Nice.
So thank you. It's like I don't have to do what Gayle does to get the show together, but my side of what I do, it was lovely and it was fun, and we get to know so many different people, and we got to kind of, really expand the energy of what we were doing, which I love. Because I love that. I love connecting, and I love connecting with others. So that was amazing, and that was fabulous. But yeah, definitely you were missed.
Thank you so much. I was going to write up stuff, but then I felt like it wasn't going to be magic, like the way we bring it together. Like if I wasn't on the show and then writing up, like something for the group, it wasn't going to, it wasn't going to jive. It wasn't gonna.
And we have to follow our intuition.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I'm really glad that you just took the time to focus in the area that you needed to focus in.
Yeah.
And
I did.
Time until you come back.
Yes, definitely. And I thank you, ladies, for that.
It's our pleasure.
No problem. We're really glad to have you back. Alrighty, so we've got a lot to cover today. We really do. And one of the first things I think that we want to cover for everybody who's watching, first of all, let us know that you're watching. Say hi in the chat. Let us know if you're watching on live or on replay. But we want to let you know that you won't be watching us next week. Tell them about that, Krista.
Okay, so next week it is Boxing Day, or December 26th, and we are giving ourselves the gift of just enjoying family. For me, I'm going to have all three of my kids under the same roof for the first time since 2018, and it's our first Christmas together, the five of us, since 2016. That's wonderful. I want everyone to just enjoy that magic, and that's what we're going to be busy doing.
It on the full moon in Cancer. Wow, that's on the 26th.
Amazing. That will be amazing. Yeah. So there's a lot going on energetically, and so we're happy that we can be with you. However, don't worry, we will be back on January 2nd. And we have a big surprise for those who want to come and play.
Yes. I'm excited. We are going to kick off 2024 with the what is the right word for it? The aplomb that it deserves, right? This is the culmination of everything that we've been talking about, working on for the last year, literally, at least, maybe longer than that we've been really like purging and clearing and seeing what works and what doesn't, and recreating ourselves and digging deeper and finding where a more authentic level of that is.
Get into my show, Gayle.
Sorry. But my point being that, the 22nd of January in 24, that's the moment, right? Right. So, as Damaris just reminded me, let's not get our little feet into her area. Let's let her get going.
All right. Like you said, we have a lot to cover. I haven't been on the show, in a month and a half. So anyway, let me go right into it. So we have Mercury retrograde, as you were saying, started on the 13th all the way through January 1st, but then we'll have the shadow phase after that. We have the winter solstice coming up also on the 21st, and we have on the 26th the full moon in Cancer, which is opposite Capricorn. So that's on the 26th. And so there's a lot going on in Capricorn. There's a lot of energies going on in that sign. But the way I want to focus the most today is something that happened back in 2020, in December of 2020. It was a conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter and Saturn conjunction. That conjunction planted seeds in every one of us collectively, whether we know it or not. And the seeds that were planted was to really answer a call of your soul, so to speak. So now we have a harmonious kind of energy between Saturn and Jupiter again. Jupiter is the earliest degrees in Taurus, and Saturn is at the early degrees in Pisces. So there's a harmonious energy going on between them. And what this means is that we have to look back, especially with the retrograde, because the retrograde is also supposed to be for reflection. So we have to look back from 2020, late 2020, exactly 3 years ago, look back to see what from that, almost like a life review, what we need to discard from 2020 till now, because we're preparing for building our dreams and answering that call that's coming in 2024. For me, it started already. I started purging, and I started just focusing and being very clear on what I wanted. I had sort of like a collapse. I'm going to say psychological, mental, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, which brought everything almost to a culmination for me. And it started with the eclipses, the eclipse in Taurus and Scorpio energies. That's where it started. And so what happened was that when my mother passed away, those energies were exactly the same. So Taurus has to do with everything that we have, what we own, our possessions, if you will. And then Scorpio has to do with, what other people's stuff is and other people's energies and how we sort of like react to other people and what happens to other people. So in my case, my mother passed away. It happened to her, but that affected me. So I'm going to say in the blink of an eye, I lost her, the home I lived in, and my siblings, because I was the only child between my parents. So when she passed, they went with their dad. I went with my dad. So I was the house, mom, the siblings, gone in a blink of an eye. And so bring it back to when the eclipses happened in the same exact degrees as when she passed. It was almost like I started to realize what was really important in my life. Like what was, we call my kids my home. Those are possessions, right? Because we say my kids, my home, when they're really not, if you really think about it. But that's what we say. And so I started to realize what was really important, because like I said before, in a blink of an eye, I lost it all. And so I want to make sure that my possessions, I really pay attention to them, and I really, give them the importance that they need. And so I had to eliminate the things that didn't really, that wasn't important. And so I went through all of that process of getting rid of what didn't matter and really focused on what mattered, because in a blink of an eye, you could lose it again. You know what I mean? Everything the rugs can be pulled from underneath you, so to speak. And so that's the whole thing that I went through, that process. And I felt like, I made the right decisions, and I put my energy and focus where it really matters. So if I go tomorrow, I know that I don't have to come back and repeat things that, mistakes that I have made, perhaps, or things that I should have paid attention to that I didn't, if you will. And so I just want to talk a little bit about what Saturn and what Jupiter is. So Jupiter is a planet that says, yes, let's go. Let's get it going. It doesn't really, it wants to get it done. Saturn says, wait. Saturn is like, wait a second, it puts the brakes on. So Jupiter, wants to get this dream going, 2024, but Saturn is saying, wait a second, we have to reflect on everything. We have to make sure that we cover all the tracks, that we don't cut any corners. Saturn says, if you don't know your own history, you're doomed to repeat it. So Saturn doesn't want us to keep repeating mistakes. Saturn wants us to get rid of the mistakes, learn whatever lesson so that we can move forward instead of going back and forth. Because that's what happens. We get going on something, but then we didn't learn a lesson, a previous lesson. So we have to sort of like repeat that lesson. And so it's almost like we take one step forward and two backwards when we don't really clear what we need to clear. So the Mercury retrograde, the Saturn and the Jupiter energies are telling us, clear whatever it is you got to clear before you move forward, because you're not going to get too far. You're going to be pushed back to repeat whatever you need to repeat. And so that's what, this energy is all about. So I don't know what you guys were doing 3 years ago. And I want to just stop for a moment to ask, what did you guys let go of? What do you still need to work through to let go, whatever doesn't, serve anymore? I want to ask you guys.
That's a really good question. So for me, in December of 2020, we had been moved in to the house I'm in currently for about 3 months. And I was in the process of we had gotten rid of a lot of stuff before we moved. But when you move in, this is part of the perpetual motion of moving. You get rid of before you go. And then when you arrive, you get rid of again, right?
Yeah.
So I was, in terms of physical stuff, we were getting rid of. Now I can say that for us in that time frame, we were healing from we were probably really starting to break that open further, but healing from a betrayal. Right. And healing from some really shocking kind of unexpected turns that COVID brought up as well. And so, for me, I can see where it's kind of funny because, of course, now we're in that perpetual state of moving again, right? Where we're getting ready.
You're right, you're absolutely right. But I mean, really, COVID 2020. And so many people have gone through so much since COVID. I mean, we had a lot of deaths. So much has happened in 3 years. And really, this energy started 3 years ago. And so what can we shift, within each of us individually so that we don't repeat it again? You know what I mean? And I mean, when we talk about collectively, wow, there's a lot there to be unpacked, because we were okay, if you will, but some people lost loved ones. They had COVID themselves. I have a client that he almost died because of COVID, and the process, he was isolated, and he couldn't even see his daughter, and he was devastated through that process. And so I said, that was like a near-death experience for you. And so some people went through a near-death experience, So for us, it wasn't as bad, if you will, because we didn't have COVID, right? We didn't lose real, or anybody really close to us through COVID, but some people did. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, I was just going to say, and then, I mean, ultimately, the end for where I'm at, we're getting ready to move again.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing that energy. Oh, okay. Because I've already started that process of getting rid of. And like Kevin, no joke, just came home tonight. Oh, I sold. What was it? He sold extra parts for his Defender, to another Defender owner that we don't need to carry with us.
Yeah.
You know, I have sold an item, a crystal singing bowl. I have an extra one, so I sold it. You know, there are these things, and you know that you're just starting to let go, and
being lighter, right?
It is, and it may sound in. I'm only talking about things on a physical nature.
Yeah.
But physical, getting rid of the physical stuff allows you to dig into the emotional. At least that's always been my experience.
Yeah.
Because, you know, once the physical stuff is gone and moved on and out of the way, guess what you got left?
The spiritual stuff.
That's it. So you have to get real with your own stuff, your 100%. Own stuff.
That's what I said before. Saturn says if you don't know yourself, if you don't know your own history, you're going to be doomed to repeat it. So we have to know our own history, our own patterns, our own, you know, like vicious cycles, if you will.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's kind of where I was. So that makes sense for me. I don't know, Gayle, how about you? I mean, you were in Arizona this time.
I was just after COVID was declared COVID. Because like 6-8 weeks before that, everybody was like, I got this respiratory thing and my doctor doesn't know what it is. You know, so I was one of the people that had COVID before COVID was COVID.
Yeah.
But and thankfully, you know, I wasn't one of the ones that were majorly affected by it. However, I'm now right this week, I'm dealing with upper chest stuff, and it's like it's echoes of that, like that long COVID you're talking about. So at any rate, we had just moved into the house that was the last house that I was going to be in Arizona. Didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
It was a deal between Bill and one of his pool customers. So he was getting married. We were going to occupy his house because Bill hated our old landlord, and it was going to be wonderful. And it was one of the first like real major decisions that I allowed Bill to I'll go along with it, right?
Yeah.
Before that, most of the decisions or whatever we came to together, or I took the lead on, but that was one that he took the lead on and I followed along. And it was a beautiful house. Right after we got in there, with the impact of COVID, the guy that owned that house that had just gotten married and moved into his wife's house, his business was checking people into live seminars. You know, he's the guy with the computers up at the front with the name tags and all that kind of, you know, as you walk into those huge ballrooms of people that.
And that wasn't happening.
And that stopped happening.
Exactly. So he was forced to liquefy his assets, meaning sell the house we were living in. Right.
Yeah.
And we were 2 months into had to sign a lease because we had no lease before that, to sign a lease so that he could sell the house, knowing that we had less than a year to be there, you know. And whoever he sold the house into their hands, they could have had us move out immediately. They gave us to the end of the lease.
Of course.
But they could have had us move out immediately. So there was a lot of, like you were talking about, a sense of a betrayal and working through it and trying to get past that type of thing. And then there was further compounded betrayals, all of that next year, you know, as I was going through this tearing down and rebuilding process, right?
Yeah.
Going to Michigan and all of the attending chaos with that. And then finally ending up moving out here. Now, one of the things that I've discovered for myself in all of this, as I have, you know, like lived alone for a full year and more now, and tried dating. No. Anyway, you know, being confronted, you know, like you just said, Krista, when you get rid of all of that superfluous items you have purchased stuff, right?
Yeah.
And and then you're forced to deal with what you've been carrying around in your own baggage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrying around
that backpack. The one that we wear that's super fitted.
Uh-huh. Yeah, just like your own skin. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that one.
I'm absolutely appalled at the level of zygote human, yeah, definitely human. These people out here are fucking sick. They're
In what
sick.
way? In what way?
Just, yeah, we'll talk, okay? But because I'm actually embarrassed of what I've been attracting, okay? This is a problem, right?
Okay.
And I sat down, what was it, yesterday? Some morning this weekend, maybe it was yesterday. It just seems like a year ago. And I did the energy of 2024, right? This layout, this guide layout with this new deck that I've been working about called Dreams of Gaia. Now, Dreams of Gaia Tarot will dig into your bags of baggage and pull one out and go, deal with that one, bitch. And I had, this is the greatest part though, because there was this part of it that was about, oh gosh, I wish I had it where I could just like reach it and read it to you, because essentially it was about stop fucking around, deal with your own shit, because you're not going to want anybody who's willing to be with you right now. Right?
Yeah.
That's going to be
that's understandable.
Focus on your own shit. And when you've healed to the point where you don't need anyone, the right appropriate one will be presented for your consideration. And I was like,
100%. I agree with that.
Yeah. All righty. Yep. Yeah. So.
Oh, I didn't say anything about the number. Today is an 11, right? 11 vibration, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
So the 11, as you guys know, is a master number. It's a double one. So it's double independence, double, I would say, oh my God, because if you figure the one is the masculine principle, and then the double one is even a higher dimensional level of just the one. I would say it's, when I think of the tarot too, you think of the magician. He's the number one in the deck out of the main cards. And the magician has everything on the table, all the tools he needs to create magic. And so we have everything we need to create magic and elevate it to a degree where we bring heaven on earth, so to speak. So I'm going to say that master number 11 is really about us mastering ourselves, based, of course, on learning all the lessons Saturn wants us to learn, because Saturn doesn't want us to carry baggage, because it's just going to stop us, further down the road. So if we sort of like release everything we have to release, learn whatever we need to learn, then we can go smooth sailing and not take steps forward and step backwards, because really that's what it is. Jupiter wants to just go and run and do it. Saturn is like, no, you have to take care of this, just so, like what Gayle was saying, work on you, get rid of whatever has to, you have to get rid of, whether it's emotionally, mentally, physically, or spiritually, and then that person will be drawn to you as if by magic. So that's really that energy.
One of the things I want to interject this about that 11, because I did mention the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. This is not, it's not sponsored or anything.
This is the one you've never seen. This is Zachary.
Hi, Zachary.
Hello.
What were you saying, Gayle?
Well, in this Dreams of Gaia Tarot, it's not your standard tarot deck. It's got 2 different sections in it, and it has 11 cards. And 11 cards are all about reassess and adjust, right? An area of your life where you need to look at how you've been thinking about things, and does this really work for you? And are you allowing the way that you've been taught to think about things to hold you back from your natural abilities, right?
Yeah.
And I got 2 of those in that thing. But that I wanted to bring that up because I think that also is like feeds into that, the mastery of the number 11, right?
Yeah.
If you have enough vulnerability and courage to take a look at yourself and go, Am I really being the best I can be? And if not, how can I shift things to be just 1% better today? Right?
Yeah.
That's mastering yourself. Right. And that's what that reading for me was all about. So I really love that today's an 11 day. It just compounds everything.
And it's so funny too, because the magician is ruled by Mercury, and here we have Mercury retrograde, which we've been talking about. And really the retrograde, it's annoying, but at the same time, there's a lot to be said about the retrograde. It's about going within. It's about, reflecting on our lives. And I think of that Jupiter energy, and I think of the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, which is ruled by Jupiter. And that card is like almost your natal chart is there, right? You have the chart. I say it's a chart. And it's really like you got to look at your chart, because individually we have different lessons to learn, and we have different, things that we need to overcome. And so when we look at our chart, we see what's left yet to be done. You know what I mean? And what do I have next to work on? Because we can't take it all, at once. It's too much. So, okay, I accomplished this. What else do I have to overcome? What tendencies, what patterns, what negative behaviors, do I have to overcome so that I can move forward quickly rather than, move up a few steps and then back again.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. Good stuff. All right, my dears. It may be too late right now to order your stickers and get them for stocking stuffers.
Yeah,
but don't let it stop you. Valentine's Day is coming up. All kinds of different stuff.
And Krista's moving to the States, so the order processing will be quicker.
The order processing will shift greatly once I move back to the States. And for those of you who are wondering if I was doing magnets this year for the Crystal of the Week, no, I am not, because I don't want to have to deal with that and be moving.
Yeah.
Because and it's a lot of weight. And I just said, you know what? We'll do that again next year. I am going to be getting a printable. I meant to have the printable ready for you guys for tonight. I am sorry. The printable will be ready, though, here shortly, so that you guys can have all the crystals of the week for 2024.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. Woohoo.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, I am so glad that Black Onyx is our crystal of the week, because with all this energy that's been going on, Black Onyx is perfect, because not only is it a great stone for protection, but it's a great stone for protection, for healing, for luck and prosperity, and for growth. So it's one of those, protection stones that it's like it protects the negative, but projects the positive. Right?
Nice.
So, and because I'm listening to what Damaris is saying, and then of course dealing with Mercury retrograde today. By the way, I did have a Mercury retrograde moment today. I had what people would call a fender bender, except I have to tell, I have a plug for Mercedes Benz once again. So I have no bump, no bruise, it doesn't even look like that the vehicle touched my car.
Awesome.
It is amazing. Awesome. It really is amazing. We both were fine. We both were okay. It was literally a communication mishap because the lights were off. So they were doing hand signals. And in the States, when they do traffic, it's like you have one hand up and you're moving it forward and, and you're telling, here it's It's a dance. It's a beautiful dance. It's an elegant dance. But sometimes, those arms going up and down and pointing and going, I feel, I'm glad I'm not a pilot.
Traffic control.
It was, I miss, it is. It's like air traffic controlling. I misread.
Taekwondo.
Yeah, it is. It was really amazing. And so it was a group of people there that were learning how to do it. So it was kind of fun because there were police officers there. So they got to witness it. So they came over to help. It was a huge, it was quite comical. But I remember I'm sitting there and I'm like going, I wonder how this officer would react if I'm like, it's okay, officer, this is all Mercury retrograde.
He would
he probably was like, I was just talking about that with the nurse at the emergency room last night.
Honestly, that may have been. I decided I wasn't going to push it at that moment. But yeah, that could have been his response.
I'm having a Mercury week kind of also moment. I ordered stuff for my daughter for Christmas and we don't know where it is. The package, we don't know where the package is.
I have an item like that. It's like, so it got delivered to the delivery spot, which isn't my house. I'm like, okay. And they said, and I wrote them and I said, hey, when's my package arriving? I haven't gotten notification about it.
They're
like, it went to, so they drop things off at like grocery stores. They have grocery store centers. I'm like, oh, well, that's great. But I didn't get any notification. They're like, oh, well, we just were notified it's coming back to us. So we'll resend it. I'm like, well, that's good. How am I going to know that you've resent it?
I just hope we find it in my case.
Yeah, I just, it is. You will. It's all going to turn up. I'm being very, I'm like, this is a very much a Mercury retrograde because, again, it's communication. And people think of communication like us talking.
Yeah, no.
But communication isn't just us talking. It's those ones and zeros. It's all kinds of
computer issues too.
Yeah.
And everything is computerized.
Yeah. So seriously, black onyx right now, and if you have it as jewelry, I do recommend wearing it. And I recommend wearing it. I actually have a black onyx pendant. I should find it. But it's a wonderful one to be wearing. My sense is through the beginning of the year.
Okay. Yeah.
My sense is that this is a stone to kind of keep nearby if you got it. And if you don't have it, it's a common-ish stone. Don't confuse it for obsidian and don't confuse it for jet. Jet weighs a lot lighter. And obsidian, did you want to say hello to? And here, I have number 2 saying hello.
Hi, Jen.
Woohoo! Awesome.
She's like, huh? And that's it. She's off. She's like, that's all. That's me awake. That's awesome. She's like, I'm awake. Leave me alone. But yes. So, however, a stone that could, I would do a combo pack if you don't have a black onyx. I would do a combination of like smoky quartz and black tourmaline.
Yeah,
as a combo, because that's protection and grounding. But and then if you want to amplify in some of the positive yummy stuff, get yourself some aventurine.
I love aventurine.
I love aventurine.
I use it all the time.
Yeah. So, for the next few weeks, I'm really getting a sense that because the energy is it's kind of wonky. It's going to hit us all. I know some people, it's hitting them emotionally really hard. I know others where it's kind of energizing them. And then it's me, it's like, well, crazy ass shit is happening.
Yeah.
I almost feel bad because a friend of mine was like, hey, I gotta, overnight you something, so it'll get there by Christmas. And I'm like, okay. So I got it yesterday.
Nice. Good.
And everybody's like worried about it, right? And I mailed out stuff to my daughters, and they got it yesterday.
Nice.
So I'm sitting over here going, okay, what's gonna break?
It's often nothing's gonna break
in another area, because it's different areas that it affects, right?
Yeah.
Krista and the packages.
Today I can't get my Surface tablet to open.
There you go.
There you go.
There's yours. And Kevin, like I was telling you before the show, he's been having problems with his digital read, his instant read thermometers for smoking meat, for cooking. And he's been having problems with those. 1 minute it's working, another minute it isn't. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's all Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
And he just kind of looks at me like, okay.
Hopefully it doesn't affect us anymore.
Right.
He's like, I can't determine whether or not what we're eating is cooked.
Well, we could go the old-fashioned route, just cut into it and see how it bleeds.
Yeah, no. I mean, ultimately, thankfully, we're both proficient cooks, so he does know how to. There are other ways, but it's almost comical, though. All these things, like you said. So yeah, keep in mind that there's a lot of energy that's changing and shifting, and because of the energy that's changing and shifting, we're going to be affected not just with our own stuff, but with everything that's going around. So having 100%. Those stones of protection, having those stones that help to energize you along the way and keep you focused on what it is that you need to focus on. We don't need to be working on things that aren't, keeping us present, if that makes sense. It's really
that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, because right now it's about just you need to be present.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to be. I'm gonna be very Friedrich Nietzsche. He's a philosopher. Be.
Nice.
Believe it or not, that for me was like the best part of philosophy.
After all, we're human beings, right? We're not human beings.
Yeah. Just learning to be a human being and being present
instead of doing.
Yeah. So there we go. A little bit of philosophy for everybody. You're welcome.
Well, nice. Let me interject this. If you would like to be with like-minded people like you and me, then join us in the Coven of Joy over on Patreon. Let me ask you, Krista, are we going to have another Patreon before the end of the year?
I'm not sure if that's going to happen.
26th, right?
I was supposed to, and we were supposed to do it yesterday, but we had a meeting. So I don't know. I'd love to try to do a Patreon before then. Just because I like making up for what we've done or what we've missed. So we need to see what we can schedule for the three of us. Because I would love to do that. I will also say our Patreon members will on January 2nd be invited to be with us. Oh boy, they'll be invited to be with us, live on air, on screen. As part of our, getting that energy going and really, putting forth what it is and talking about what it is that we're seeing happening in for 2024. So I would love to, I have some other ideas and I need to confirm with you. I plan on doing some quick individual crystal readings that day.
Nice. That's awesome. I
Impromptu
love that.
ones for
Nice.
people who are there. Yeah, that just kind of came to me. I'll be doing that.
All right. I
You'll be
will
doing that.
call that, and I will raise you 1 card pulls from the Rebel deck.
Ooh.
Whoa! All right.
And
Now we're getting
about
down.
the astrology that
Okay.
whatever is affecting us that day.
Excellent. See, we're going to have some awesome stuff for that January 2nd stuff with our, and yeah, so yeah, I will put it out to our Patreon members if we're going to be able to make it work, to make up for yesterday. I just have, seriously, I'm back to the airport tomorrow. So to pick up child number 3. So it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of busyness.
Let me ask you this, just for clarification's purposes, okay? So you are inviting our Coven of Joy on Patreon to become on screen with us and receive our gifts for the new year, okay?
Yep.
What does it take for a new person who's not in Patreon yet to get in on that?
Well, they need to join. They need to join our Coven of Joy on Patreon.
Nice.
And yeah, there you go. And honestly, it's going to be like, I think it should be all levels, or should it be just? I think it should be all the levels.
Yeah,
and they'll receive the invitation. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. All the levels.
Awesome.
I'm loving that idea.
Awesome.
See,
awesome.
I love it when we come together for our show and have a meeting during the show. Isn't that great?
I do. I find it awesome. But that's the spontaneity, isn't it? It's like, this is who's like, okay, let's do this. All right, awesome. Anything else for right now, Krista?
No, not really. I just seriously, for me, just this whole energy, I'm going to remind you guys, just flow. I know that seems to be my big thing with a lot of the stuff that's been going on, and I'm going to stick with it. Just keep flowing with it. When something happens and you feel like, be a river. If you feel like that there's a block, well, what does a river do if there's a rock in the way? It flows around it.
Ride the wave.
Ride it, baby. Ride it. And just make sure that you're not going headlong. That's all. Feet first, not head first.
Yes.
Wonderful. All right, let's do this. All righty, unattached and unhindered. Now that sounds more like my love life right now than the topic for the week. But be that as it may, it kind of all flows together because when we're talking about where do I even want to begin? I want to begin with the Onyx first, okay? Because what we're talking about with the Onyx, right, is that protection, right? Protecting what's important. Right? Projecting positivity, but also being very grounded in reality. This is not a fantasy stone, right? This is a reality stone. This is, and when you are in that state, when you are grounded, when you are radiating positivity, right? I mean, that's a very authentic to you place to be in. And that moment, you're not attached to anything. You're not like, oh, I got to make these calls and hit this quota, right? You're not, this has to go this way or bad things are going to happen. I am strong like oak in the midst of all of this stuff going on around me, right? And you are also very unhindered from taking the actions that need to be taken in that moment. You're not in your head second guessing, worrying about this, that, or the other thing. You have your ability. You have your magician's tools at your disposal, right? to make happen what you want to have happen. All right. And that in many, many cases leads back to that master number of the day as well, that self-mastery, that mastery of what we have brought here to the planet, and clearing out all of those things that we have grabbed to us like the whoobies of the moment to keep us feeling safe, to keep us feeling protected, right? And warm and cozy, that maybe aren't long enough to cover our feet and our shoulders at the same time anymore. We just outgrown them. You know,
Yeah.
They're not benefiting us the way that they have in the past. Okay. I'm laughing at Krista taking a phone call. So,
sorry, we were handling something.
No problem. I'm just laughing. Mercury. It's all about communication.
It is.
So,
exactly.
right? Oh my gosh. So yeah, from that space, that total space of being unattached and unhindered, right? I'm hoping that all of you that are watching have had the opportunity to do a lot of the work that we've been talking about. Now, it's not heavy lifting. It's just stuff that you probably procrastinate and avoid about when it comes to, looking within and assessing what's working, what's not working. Yeah, all of us, Krista, we all, oh shit, I don't want to do this yet, until we're faced with, I don't want to be that anymore. I have to do this now.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
So,
but, people need to understand that even when we're here preaching, and I don't like to use the word preaching, but teaching about this, I mean, how often it's like, I there's shit I need to do and I don't.
Yep.
Because, I got it. Yeah. Sorry. I have a comedy act going on behind my screen.
I wish you could very easily with one button just like switch the camera around so we can see it all. Awesome. All right. So here's the thing. At this point, you should have been able to, or you've been given the opportunity to do the inner work, to do a lot of what we were talking about, doing that purging of things that don't work for you anymore. And in some cases, it's a physical purging. Like I know Damaris has been like getting stuff out of her house. Krista's sold things she doesn't want to bring back to the States. I've got a box of hand-me-down jeans that I'm never going to fit my fat ass into anymore. That's slated for shipping to my daughter, who has the same, she's thinner than me. She's me 30 years ago, So she'll be able to put those to good use. I don't have to throw them away. I can repurpose them. And then there are other things that I am throwing away, like underwear and socks that, I go through my drawer and I go, I don't want to wear those. I don't want to wear those. I don't want to wear those again and again and again. Why not just fucking throw them out?
Yeah. Or donate it. If it's something that's donatable, go repurpose it and donate it. There's somebody out there that will love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've been doing all of this processing, right? And a lot of the physical world stuff of purging. But how many of you have actually taken the time to start purging your own attitudes?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I got tinglies. That's some deep work, right? Like, what are the things that you were trained into growing up that don't necessarily work for you any longer, right? And going through that conscious process to purge your knee-jerk reaction to take up that attitude, and I'm not just talking about the teenage, screw you, I know everything during this 4 years of my life, I'm not talking about sassy attitudes like that. I'm talking about your point of view about your life, your attitude in relation with altitude, metaphysically. Are you vibing up here? Are you messing around with these low vibing assholes? Right?
Yeah.
And that's been a real experience for me for the last couple of weeks or whatever, as I'm looking for this, looking to date people, is that I'm vibing with low vibe assholes because
the good news is that you notice, you know what it is. You know the low
What?
vibration. You know the good news is that you know what low vibration is. Some people don't, so
Yeah.
they just keep dating that person.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Absolutely correct.
it may that person may look different, but guess what? It's the same energy. Yeah.
Yes.
And so, and you have to understand what your self-worth is, and that
Yes.
the energy that you project
Yeah.
is what's going to come back to you, whether it's dating, whether it's money,
Mhm.
whether it's, good things that happen, or even, the friends that you attract.
They say that energy doesn't lie.
I want to qualify something that Krista just said, because we all hear it said the way that Krista just said it, right? What you put out is what comes back to you. No, what you put out determines what comes back to you, because these relationships are harmonic. They are not two of the same exact things meeting up. They are the empath with the narcissist. They are the codependents. They are, like Krista and I discovered with Denise last week, the women in masculine mode attracting the men in feminine mode. Okay? Yeah. These are not like attracts like. No, these are complementary energies that play off of each other until one or the other heals and moves to a different vibrational frequency.
Well, they
and
say
allows
opposites attract too.
to fall away. What?
Opposites attract too.
Yes.
Opposites attract. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But and again, it's not going to be as black and white, yes and no, good and bad, right and wrong, as many of us would love it to be. This entire universe is in shades of gray, right? So it's not necessarily going to be that they're going to be exactly the same or they're going to be exactly opposite. They're going to be whatever's going to give you the experience so that you get to be right.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
So thanks for letting me blip on that, Krista, because that's one of the things I think that especially newcomers to metaphysics and stuff don't really get. It's like I want to be loving and kind and I want to help people, and why don't people want to be that for me? Because you would have nobody to fucking help if they were helping you.
Very, very, very true. But it's not to say that what you're reflecting out and what you're sharing won't come back to you also is in a positive manner. So don't, I know that sometimes we get with the opposites, people think, well, an opposite has to be always a negative.
Right.
Opposites aren't always a negative. There's opposite. That's not going to come out in a great way. Pardon?
No, I get it. Love and fear, right? Consider this. What is your most motivating factor, love or fear? Because you'll never make a decision that doesn't contain both, right?
Exactly. That is true.
Because I love my body and I'm afraid of getting fat. It's always going to have both components.
Yes. Yeah, no, but but if you want to always operate on a plane of fear, then everything that comes to you, even if it's an opposite, is going to be on that vibration. Whereas I make the choice of I want love or above in my vibrational frequencies. It doesn't mean I'm afraid, but guess what? I use courage to succumb or overcome, I should say. You don't succumb, but you overcome that fear, in order to move forward.
I was thinking of something you said just before, Gayle, and it goes so deep too. Like you said, let's say women that want to help somebody, they attract broken people, right? But it goes so much deeper than that when we're talking about the whole universe too. It's like the doctors need sick people to give them medication, or to, you know what I'm saying? The cop needs people to commit crime so that he could have his job. You know what I'm saying? It goes so much deeper than
it does. It's a ripple. It's a ripple effect.
It's a ripple.
Yeah. And the best explanation that, and it's not really an explanation because it's not facts, but story highlighting how that works is Neil Donald Walsh's children's book, about the little candle, right?
I haven't read that book.
You haven't read that book? Essentially,
I have
story.
some of his books, but not that one.
Okay, it's a children's book. It is very, very sweet. And essentially, to paraphrase the book, the story is about this little light, this little candle who shone bright, and recognizing that all of these other candles had to put out their light so that that candle's light could be seen. Right?
Yeah.
So, like you were saying, the people, we don't realize, especially before we start healing ourselves, that all of these people that are in our lives hurting us are doing that for a greater purpose than we can probably see when we're hurt.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Kristen's just going to bust out laughing in a second for something we have no idea about.
It's okay. Again, have a comedy act. Now they've exited the room, but they show up. I have a show
Saturn again, right? There's Saturn again, showing us the lessons so that we don't repeat them. So just
exactly
what you're saying, right? Whatever you were smiling about, that you were thinking about, Saturn is saying, okay, look at that. Look, maybe that happened for you to learn something, and whatever dynamics were involved in that, you don't have to repeat it once you learn it, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, and
Saturn wants us to be unhindered. It does. She does. I call her she. Saturn wants us to be unhindered.
Yeah.
He wants us to be free, but we can't be free unless we release the bondage.
Yep. Exactly.
Literally. And we do it to ourselves.
Yes. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because honestly, when I take a step back and look at my relationships or lack thereof or whatever, objectively, right? If I was talking to somebody that I could talk to and say anything without having to clean it up, okay? It'd be like, what are you doing? It took you this long. After how many years did you experience life in a relationship going that I can't do this because I have these other people to concern myself with, right? Why are you trying to hinder yourself? Why do we do that to ourselves?
I don't know.
Because I can use as the excuse why I don't have to have the courage to make a breakthrough for me. And that's the objective honesty that Saturn and Jupiter and all of this stuff with Pluto at the end of the year that we're reviewing now. Once that invisible barrier is crossed, right? And we are fully in the new age of Aquarius, and we put all of it behind us.
100%.
What lives there can't live here, you know? So, all right. I love talking to you so much that we are going to run long again today. But let's do this, okay? Boom. Look at that.
Ace of Wands.
Yeah. So it's a new beginning. Ace of Wands, a new beginning, right? The ability to speak your magic into the world and have it grow, right? Those little leaves on the end of the wand being made of natural, wood, the ability to grow, the ability to impact the world. Now, this is an opportunity. If you don't take this opportunity, it'll pass you by. But what for you, for today, is that opportunity that you could create, speak it into the wind, into purpose, right? And make it happen. All right. Now, let me give you a little bit of background here. Receiving an ace for your daily card is like receiving a gift from the universe. The Ace of Wands is the gift of energy and excitement. Take action on whatever makes you feel excited today. Following your passion may be the first step on a grand new life adventure, or it may just lead to a fun-filled day, right? So whatever it is, whatever gets you happy, whatever gets you passionate, whatever gets you excited, go do that more today. Go do it more. All righty? Yes. And then we now have
Ooh, that's new.
It
Yeah.
is.
I am inspired and energized, ready for life's adventure.
Awesome. I'll
And
drink
now-
to that.
Right, there you go. Awesome. I love it.
Do you see my cup?
Mm.
Ooh, it's a little paper cup. I love it. Is it foil?
It's
so
like
shiny.
metal.
It's
Oh,
a metal.
wow.
Wow, it's really cute. I love it.
It's like the cup from the Ace of Cups.
Yeah, I was gonna
It
say it is. It looks
It
like a
is.
tarot cup.
Bird on
It
it?
is.
Nice.
And I got
That
somebody
is
in
so
here.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
That is adorable. Fantastic.
Oh, that's too cute.
Mr. Mercury himself.
Oh, fabulous.
That's phenomenal. All right, my dears, we want to say congratulations to our woo-woo giveaway winner of the week, Miss Gloria Fry. Woohoo!
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for being part of the Coven of Joy. Would you please reach out to Damaris or Krista or myself for your prize? Now, for Gloria and anybody else who doesn't really know what I'm talking about right now, each week the three Crones give away a reading. Now, if you pick me, it will be an intuitive reading. If you pick Miss Krista over here, it'll be a crystal reading. And if you pick Miss Damaris, it will be a numerology reading. And I am so very excited to offer this out to all of you. This will be the last gift that we give away for 2023. And we will be talking later on as we're planning the January 2nd show as for if we're going to keep that process or if we're going to change it up for something new. So you'll want to definitely tune in on January 2nd to find out what we've decided. All right.
Awesome.
Anything else, ladies, before we say goodbye?
Other than happy solstice,
Yeah.
merry everything, and and have a safe and wonderful holiday season, whatever it is that you're celebrating, because I know that we all celebrate things differently. So please enjoy whatever it is you celebrate.
And for me, may Mercury be gentle on you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being part of this, ladies. You make my Tuesdays just so joyful. Love you all. Thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic rest of the year.